Hi everyone. In this chapter, we're gonna see what the art is. So everyone, what is art? This is not an easy question to answer, right? Because people define art in many ways. Today we are going to see diverse viewpoints of art in terms of beauty, appearances, meaning, and purpose. Um, so this is very popular painting to everyone, Mona Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci from the Renaissance era in 1503 to 1505. So before the Renaissance, there was Middle Age, known as Dark Age in art history for 1,000 years. However, after Middle Age, the Renaissance arose and many Renaissance artists sought to make realistic images and spaces on the two-dimensional surface, just like this Mona Lisa's painting. This Mona Lisa painting gave many Renaissance people a shock with a beautiful woman who seemed like alive in this painting. Besides, this painting made many critics in 19th century surprised when it was shown at the Louvre Museum in Paris. They described as a dangerous beauty and a fatal attraction. Now, let's look at what art is in modern, about 20th century. So this is Marcel Duchamp's fountain. So everyone, look at this. Can you guess what it is? It is a male urinal. Yep, right. So Duchamp did not make this urinal, but only designated it as a work of art. So it is a type of art known as a ready-made. So here is the ready-made definition on the right corner of the screen. An artist doesn't make an art piece, but only designed it as a work of art. That is called ready-made. So this Duchamp's ready-made work fountain raised interesting philosophical question. Does art have to be made by an artist? How do you think? So art can be changed by diverse viewpoint. Now let's look at a different examples. So this is a Japanese artist painting maple leaves on a river. And this painting depicts, I'm sorry, it's the right one. The Japanese painting depicts Japanese autumn river in 19th century with middle or lower classes. And this, the left one, the Egyptian mural, the journey of the sun god Ra. So this painting depicts Nile River. So ancient Egyptian believed there was a god to control the river, which made fertile soil to grow their crop. So sometimes art can be different by subject matter, even though artists depict the same objects as these two paintings. So now we're going to move on to the, we're going to just, see the, how the art changes in art history. So like you can see in the title, the idea of art has changed by history. In ancient time, art is totemic sculpture or painting. And in Middle Ages, art is craft. Also, in Renaissance, art is painting, sculpture, architecture with the skilled technique. Lastly, in modern and postmodern, art means diverse genre. So now, let's talk about art and beauty. So many of us assume that a work of art should be beautiful, right? Beauty and art were discussed together because both were felt to provide pleasure. However, we don't always feel pleasure in looking at art. So let's look at this example. So what kind of feeling do you feel from this work of art? So this is Kate Colwitz's Woman with Dead Child. So can you guess what kind of feeling the artist wanted to describe through this work of art? So we can just guess through the title of this work, right? So she's holding her dead child, and we can feel her sadness from this work of art. And here's another example. So what kind of feeling do you feel from this painting? Looks a little bit creepy, right? So this Francisco de Goya's painting, Saturn devouring one of his children. So he witnessed the terrible acts of cruelty, stupidity, warfare, and slaughter during world wars. So he expressed his increasingly pessimistic view of human nature. Like this. So art can provide pleasure. That's true. However, it can also inspire sadness, horror, pity, awe, and a full range of other emotions. So art can be beautiful, but not all art tries to be beautiful. And beauty is not a requirement for art. So now let's move on to the art and appearances. So these two works of art are made by one artist. Can you guess who was the artist? It's Pablo Picasso. So Pablo Picasso, he mastered the left one, the traditional style technique while still a teenager. However, he soon abandoned it for a style of art known as Cubism. So it happened almost the end of the 19th century. Not only Pablo Picasso, but also many other artists. So why did art change suddenly? Can you guess why? So Pablo Picasso mastered this representational art style. It looks very realistic. However, something was invented and he abandoned the traditional style and he created this kind of abstract art style called Cubism. Can you guess why? I will show you the answer. So this photography, the photography was invented at the time. So for some artists, photography meant the end of painting. So manual skills were no longer needed to create a visual record because photography can do it. So sometimes appearances of art has changed by a historical event, just like this. Now let's talk about art and meaning. So art is always about something. So one brief definition of art is embodied meaning. And understanding art is a cultural skill and must learned. So for the first thing, you can find the meaning of art through form and content. And form is the physical appearance of the work. And everything the eye registers about it, such as colors, shapes, and internal organization. And content is what the work of art is about. And the next thing can be materials and techniques to see the meaning of art. And the third one is iconography. So iconography means describing images. Iconography involves identifying, describing, and interpreting subject matter in art. And the last thing is context. Art does not happen in a vacuum. So many works of art related to the life and the society of its creators. And let's move on to the art and purpose. Sometimes art has purpose. This is kata workers' installation work, sugar babies. So can you guess what this work is about? So this is a giant African featured Sphinx sculpture here in the center of this work. And this is made by Domino sugar, the sugar we eat every single day. So the sugar was made by these young African kids to import the sugar to the developed countries. And the kids were paid incredibly low labor wage. So Walker brought art into a specialized space, evoking a connection between what took place there and larger social and historical issues. And here's another example of purpose of art. So this is Banksy's mural on Leake Street. Can you just think about what you can see here? The Banksy mural painting depicts a city worker mindlessly power washing a historic rock painting off the wall. And much as workers routinely scrub unauthorized graffiti from walls today. So this painting draws a parallel between modern street art and the cave paintings of prehistory that we now consider to be priceless treasures of human patrimony. However, Like graffiti artists, the cave painters did not have permits or government authorization to paint their images. So they simply made their works for the public to see. So the questions that artists of the 20th century posed about the nature of their task and the great formal variety of their responses to those questions served to map the territory of the word art. So we now understand that art can manifest itself in many more ways, like a painting, sculpture, a video, an installation, a website, a computer program, a concept, a performance, and an action. So all these and more may be presented and understood as art.